Howdy everybody, I am Katie Pace, the Hardin County Extension Agent for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. Today for our Future Friday, we have with us Lindsey Evans, who is a agricultural science teacher at Cesar E. Chavez High School, which is in the Houston ISD school district. How are you doing this morning, Lindsey?
I'm busy and all things are good though.
That's great. You are an agricultural science teacher, which whenever we think of agriculture, that's something that will come up, and most people will automatically think if you want to be involved in agriculture to be an ag teacher. So how did you get involved in agriculture?
So I started my ag journey when I was 8 years old, and my grandpa had show cattle, and I didn't do anything with them but go to the shows and go in the show ring. So I got to wear cowgirl clothes and be, dressed up at the State Fair of Texas. And then we did Fort Worth, and we did Houston, and we did San Antonio. And so who's going to win in the ring, a 60-year-old man or an 8-year-old redheaded girl? So from the get-go, I thought all the kids in the barn were just the coolest kids in the whole world. Ninth grade, I got a goat. And then goats don't make that much money, so I started getting pigs. So I got pigs, and then my senior year, I had 2 steers, 3 pigs, and a heifer. She turned into a cow calf on St. Patrick's Day. I couldn't think of the holiday. I always knew I wanted to be a teacher when we were growing up, and we would play school. I'm the youngest of all my cousins, and we were growing up, and I'd play school. If I couldn't be the teacher, then I'd quit and go play by myself. And so when I got into high school, that's when I kind of fell in love with ag and doing ag things and being outside and being with animals and being in the show circuit as well as being in the competition circuit. I'm a state champion creed speaker, and just being involved with a lot of people from around the state was really fun for me. So I realized that I could put the two of them together and follow in my ag teacher's footsteps and go ahead and be an ag teacher. And I wound up in Houston because I went to Sam, met my college sweetheart. He got a big boy job, and then we moved to Houston.
Chavez is pretty much a very urban school, and I mean, you did come from a urban agriculture program, but when most people think of agriculture, we think of a rural program. So how is teaching at Chavez different than our traditional sense of agriculture?
I think the hardest obstacle that you have to come over in an inner city program is teaching from the ground up. These are not legacy students. Their parents were not FFA members. Their older brothers and sisters were not FFA members. We have some students that are very involved in the FFA program, and their brothers and sisters go to a completely different high school inside the district, free choice district, and there's 67 high schools in Houston ISD. The largest school district in the state and the largest school district in the South. Our biggest obstacle is kind of explaining the importance and the overall application of agriculture in their daily lives. We have to focus on SAEs that are smaller in stature. We do have some kids that want to show cows because it's the epitome of being an FFA sometimes. That's what they see on RFD TV. That's what they see in magazines. That's what they see in New Horizons, things like that. So they get really excited and they want to give it a try. We do have a school barn so they can try it. But most of our SAEs are smaller. We have a lot of kids that work in agriculture-related jobs. We have a lot of vets around town that will have our kids in there. A lot of ag commodity. That's one of our biggest things is we do rainwater harvesting and stormwater harvesting and cleaning. So we have a lot of water treatment plants, which goes into agriculture. I have one girl and she does rainwater harvesting for her entire neighborhood. So she's convinced all of her neighbors that have gutters to let her harvest their rainwater. And so that's a wildlife SAE that she's been working on since she was in the 9th grade. And then what does she do with that water? She waters her trees, her neighbors' trees. She started a small pecan orchard in her backyard. Just simple things, but it's all about what can you do inside the inner city that promotes agriculture? That's not farming, that's not ranching. It's smaller in stature, but it has a bigger application. Thing is getting our kids outside of Houston to see the broader application. We have 4 kids that were signed up for the youth range workshop, and unfortunately it was canceled, but they should have some virtual things going on. We do 2 IHP Hunt Master courses over the summer. We send kids to the ranching brigades. We send kids to poultry camp at A&M. I mean, so anything that our kids can go to, we go to, and most of the time our kids can get scholarships to go because they're inner city Title I students. So we get them outside of concrete so they can see the broader applications of their projects.
So real quick, to circle back, you said SAE a couple of times. Can you explain to our viewers what an SAE is?
Sure. So an SAE stands for Supervised Agricultural Experience, which is why we call it an SAE, because the other way is a mouthful. It is a project that every agricultural student should work on. Some do a great job, some do something silly like claim their dog as an SAE, but an SAE, Supervised Agriculture Experience, should be something where they take what they've learned in their class and apply it at home or apply it outside of school. So that way they get the experimentation feel of being involved in agriculture. So for example, we talked about rainwater harvesting. We had Texas Department of Environmental Quality come and talk to all of our students. And after that is when Jade started her rainwater harvesting. So because of that, because of talking about it in school and learning about it in school, now she's applying it and she knows more than I do now.
So talking about that, you're saying you bring a lot of people in and you expose your kids to a lot of different areas within agriculture. So is that kind of the angle that y'all use to try and get kids involved in ag to stay in it as a career path?
Absolutely. So if I can show them, I sound like a broken record sometimes telling kids, you can do this for a job, you can make money in this, you can make money in that. And for them to see other professionals coming inside my classroom and coming to meet them. And we've had, more than this, we've had TYHP directors come in. There's a Houston Botanic Garden that we go to, so they get to see all those people in their jobs. The Houston Audubon has a Raptor Center close to our school, so they get to see all those jobs. There's a PGA golf course nearby, so that's turf grass management. There is a stormwater collection center, or rainwater harvesting and all those, a water treatment plant basically up the road. So they've gotten to meet some of those people. They've met a truck driver. They've met people that work in the port.
So the last subject that I'm going to touch on, and that'll be about all we have time for, is I know that y'all have a partnership with the Houston Zoo. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
The Houston Zoo and us, we truly work on, from the time that they get into the Principles of Ag class to the time that they're seniors, they have done a research-based project on conservationalism. They can focus on one of three main pieces. They can focus on paper pollution, plastic pollution, or pollinator preservation. So the main projects that we've gotten out of this, we had one student, her name is Angelica, and she went down to all the main beaches around us, Kemah, Seabrook, Galveston, and she collected discarded fishing line. And she spent months doing this, almost her entire sophomore year collecting discarded fishing line. Then when she was a junior, she started bringing in pieces of board and some nails, and she'd sit in the back of my classroom and she'd nail out this nail art, right? And she'd make the shape of whatever she wanted to make, a sea bass. She did several sea turtles, anything like that. And then she would string this discarded fishing line over it and create art. And then she would go and give it to bait shops. And these bait shops would then put out a canister to collect discarded fishing line, because it's one of the main problems that tangles in sea life. It never goes away. Monofilament never erodes. So it was a huge project for her. And she actually, because of that project and its uniqueness, got to go to the zoo and meet the sea lion team, present her project. And now there's this 2-foot circle sea lion made out of discarded fishing line sitting in their shed in their office. So they get to see it every day. And she got an internship with the zoo. Our relationship with the zoo is teaching students and making a positive social change for conservation.
Y'all are doing some great work, and it's great to see that you're opening people to new opportunities in agriculture that some of it even I didn't know about before me and you were friends. So it's really great to see that, and I think that's about all we have time for today. Thank you so much for sitting down with us, and thank you for all of those in Hardin County and Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service.
Thanks for calling me.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You too.